Hello and welcome to a series I'm going to call How to Fix a Racetrack. I have seen a series online by YouTuber Southpaw Racer doing a fantastic series on how to ruin a racetrack, where he takes a brilliant racetrack like Spa and cuts it up and ruins it and makes it terrible, and it's hilarious and he does it brilliantly. But it's all a bit negative, isn't it? So I've thought, why don't I try and see how to fix a racetrack using the same strategy. I have a picture here of a racetrack, in this case the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi, which is universally hated by pretty much everybody who's seen a race there. And let's see what I can do to make it better by, well, finding bits of track that already exist and cutting it up and pasting it in the correct places. So when you've got something like this, lots of tarmac, where do you start? Well, lots of drivers love turn 1, turn 2, 3 and 4. I think that's brilliant. As soon as you get out of there, it's all slow, boring corners that don't really go together. And that makes people sad, because a lot of money has been spent on this track and the racing's terrible. It's finished the season quite a few times now, and it's never really been that interesting, you know. Its most famous moment was 2010, when it was famous because Fernando Alonso lost the championship because he couldn't overtake a much slower car, despite the fact we have enormous straight followed by another enormous straight. So what does that mean? Well, we've got a racetrack to fix. Where do we start? On the weirdest and oddest things about this track that was supposed to be cool but ended up not being cool and just annoying is the pit lane exit, which, well, for reasons unknown, goes underneath the track and rejoins all the way up there, because logic. So how do we fix that? Well, as you can see here, the pit lane is this side and a big grandstand is this side, and here's the paddock, it's tiny. Here's the space behind the grandstand, it's massive. What should we do? Well, I'm going to very quickly swap them around. Well, actually, this whole section of corners is universally loved by the drivers, so why don't I just steal it and go and put this bit where the final two corners are anyway, and just have to go up it reverse. Okay, so let's copy that and paste it, and then we go up here, transform, rotate 180 degrees, and then we can go like this, and voila, pit lane exit onto the racing line there. Pit lane entry, well, I can fix that very easily. Of course, one issue we've got now is that the track here needs to merge perfectly there without... Right. Pit exit is going to be this, so I can just pretty much remove all of this start line, because we're keeping it going the same direction. I mean, there's no point changing that. To show that this is our pit exit. And there we have it. Turn 1 with pit exit right in the middle of it. So, with our new grandstands and everything, and pit lane buildings, just going to move all of these down a bit, so they're in the same place as they were before, but we now have a grandstand on the left and a pit building on the right. Now, I need to find a thin piece of tarmac that I can curl into there, so let's have a look. We happen to have a kart circuity thingy down here. That'll do. Come down here, and I'll get a bit of this corner because because it's going to have to kink slightly into our pit lane, so this will at least look okay. I can fix that with some copy and paste techers. Right, this currently I need to deal with before I finish that pit lane. So we have here some better corners than the final corner already is, but it doesn't quite line up, so well, how can we fix that? Simple. Well, actually I can remove the bridge because I need to, yes, you see, this is sneaky, isn't it? Put it up here where I've had to blur it, turn it around, and you wouldn't notice at all. Fill this whole pit lane up with grass, because everyone knows that in the desert there's a lot of grass. And we already have a better section of final corners. Just need to finish this pit lane entry. Now I need this pit lane entry to come off a corner, which luckily Abu Dhabi have provided me with right here. So let's I was gonna say copy, but I really mean steal. Do I mean steal? Yeah, I mean steal. Let's steal this. Right, so we now have a pit lane entry line which I can put there, and I just need to play with the warp button to just slightly warp it all, and that is a new pit lane. Pit lane entry kind of comes off, decent corner. It's quite okay actually. Now Abu Dhabi seems to love this blue stuff, so well, that's what the clone stamp's for. That looks passable, that'll do. We'll come back to it. So, this section of corners here, turn 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone loves it. There's no point changing that at all. Or is there? Because what do we have down here? We have what looks like another section of fast corners, and a track that is craving and crying out for someone to put another fast corner in. We have one here that nobody's using. So, let's remove the option to not have it. First thing I'm going to do though is, it's not as wide as the other bits of racetrack, so let's, well, widen it. So now, having widened the track down here, I'm going to go in and block off the other piece of circuit, and then go and do the exact same thing over here. And that is now a very exciting section of corners. We can finally remove this absolutely awful section of corners where you have a chicane into a slow hairpin before a long straight, which means you can't overtake into this one, you can't follow them through these two, and there's no way you're getting closer here. So that stops any overtakes. What can we do? Well, through this section we actually have one quite fun corner. This first part of the chicane is not that bad. Now we're not going to leave as much runoff, which is why it's there, because of this grandstand for no apparent reason. So let's just extend this corner round and make it a double apex. If someone in the comments tells me that hairpin is a world-class corner, I mean, first off, faith in humanity will disappear in the blink of an eye. Secondly, what are you doing? It's bad. It's one of the reasons this circuit is universally hated. It's because you can't do anything at it. Overtakes don't happen there for a reason. And that reason is it's Abu Dhabi and it's terrible. But we'll ignore that and then get rid of it and turn it into some vertical double apex. It's not really a monstrosity, is it? It's actually going to be a lot more of a fun corner to drive. Double apex thing, you can take different lines through it. You can probably run wide. We can do something to make them stop running wide there pretty easily, and that already is a much much better section of corners. Grass in the desert, I mean, we know that they're not running out of that, are we? We're on an artificial island made of sand, and for some reason it's covered in grass. For reasons unknown. That's the inside of the corner. The outside of the corner, of course, because it's Abu Dhabi, is tarmac, and therefore it's blue. So I'm going to go and grab some blue tarmac from somewhere else. And I know we've got a nice exit curve there. Now, as I was saying, need to stop them running wide there. How do I do that? Well, we're in a desert, just covered in sand. So I could have a sand track, but then they don't like gravel, do they? So, well, they seem to like grass here, so let's just do that. Like AstroTurf, but actually worse, because I mean AstroTurf is fine when it's dry, and when it's wet it's horrible. So you want it when it's going to be wet, but this is a desert, so it's not going to be wet. Well, hang on. This straight is not straight for unknown reasons. Therefore, this is going to have to be fixed, because why? Just why would you have a straight and then make it not straight? It just doesn't make sense. We now get to the next part of this circuit and why it's bad. This chicane, it's tight and there's a straight between them, and the second corner is awful, and like it doesn't work as an overtaking opportunity for some reason, despite the fact it's a long straight and a big braking point, because the corner before it's bad, and it doesn't help down to the next straight either, because well, you accelerate and brake between them, and in a racing sense of view that doesn't help. Now this bit here in the corkscrew, this is more like what I'm talking about, that kind of corner to turn in, maybe have that, maybe have something wider like this chicane, or our new chicane. Let's see what we can do. So that is our back straight. Now, what does this need? Ah yes, it needs Old Faithful blue runoff. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is half the battle. Sector 3. Starting off with this utter pile of vomit. So, what's the best thing to do at the end of a long straight? Have a nice slow corner. We've got that. Then you follow it with one of the worst chicanes ever invented, and a slow corner that, well, does it do anything to improve racing? No. And the circuit in this final sector especially is lacking a fast corner of some challenge. So, where do we have any fast corners of challenge? Well, we have a load over here. Or we do this. We just cut this out and paste it over there, because this layout, known as the corkscrew, because of a little bit of elevation change, is actually really liked by drivers. So, why don't we just take it from over here and put it over there? So we now have this pretty cool section of track, which I need to now try and make fit in here and turn properly in the correct directions. Cut this bit out, spin it so that we can rejoin the track up here somewhere. I mean, we can still have the same corner pretty much, where you come out of here and go into a chicane, but let's make that chicane slightly more fun. Come out and turn the other way and be a bit quicker. You know, not so tight. You come out of this corner, you've got the correct racing line to go through there. You can chuck it up the inside, you can maybe follow through there as well. It'd be more interesting, you know, that's what this circuit really, this final sector, is shouting out for. It's some faster corners that are interesting. Cover up the direness. We'll just cover it up by something that you wouldn't usually find in a desert. A long, large piece of perfectly crafted lawn. Because, yeah, So next we have these two fast corners, which are okay, you know, but then they're easy flat out corners. And they go into the final major cardinal sin, this hotel. Why, oh why, would you make a racetrack go underneath a hotel? Well, it's quite cool to have, but then you get the issue of what has been made. And it's three 90-degree corners that wiggle through the middle, and the only people who enjoy it are the people who pay an awful lot of money to stay there, or the photographers who stand up there. Wait, when I said 90 degrees, what? Ah, okay, we have one 90-degree corner, a second 90-degree corner, and not quite that tight corner, and a kink. It's made even worse by the fact that they're trying to squeeze some runoff in. Yeah, everything about this is bad. It's slow corner, small acceleration zone, slow corner, small acceleration zone, slow corner. Which, all it means is that cars that were this close together on the way in are now this close together. It doesn't work. But what can we do? Well, not much really, because they've dug out some water. But I mean, this is Abu Dhabi we're talking about. This is a country with an awful lot of money that can just do this anyway if I tell them to. Obviously not if I tell them to, I don't quite have the political leverage. So, we are going to first flip horizontal and find out that I've taken too much, so right to the edge of that corner, delete. And there we have a long fast corner now. I just need to get this to line up. I mean, I'm not going to move the hotel. I'm going to move the oceans, but I'm not going to move the hotel. That's taking it too far. Kind of. Not really. It's beyond my Photoshop skills. How about that? That'll do. Yeah, that sounds like an excuse that's relevant. Flawless. And then that merges in with that as well, which is almost like I designed it like that in the first place. And now we have what could almost be described as a decent section of corners. We now have this fast corner which is flat out, this one which, well, will be very quick, so I will probably extend the runoff a long way out that way, and then we have a small kink into the same tight corner as before, but it'll now be a lot quicker entry. Fast kink to slow corner. I might just move this corner. Deselect that. And there we have it. Abu Dhabi fixed. I mean, it's not a radical change really, but the aim of it, for starters, is to make the track a little bit quicker at lap time, because when you've got a dreary racetrack, spending 100 seconds to get around it, to know you've got to go back to it again, is really disheartening. But turn 1, fix the pit lane, swapped it down to the other side, we'll have more space for a paddock, and it's just going to be better. You don't have to deal with the tunnel that everyone hates, and that's all gone. And here is the final composite image of the circuit in full screen so you can enjoy it fully. I hope you enjoyed this video, because I enjoyed making it, and it's quite fun looking at a terrible circuit and going, how can I make that better? I know, be creative, and here we go, I've made it better. So thank you for watching this video. If you want me to make more of these, please, well, firstly tell me, and then secondly tell me what other circuit do you think is absolutely disgusting. Think of a terrible, terrible circuit that you don't like, that you think I can fix for you, because I can do this. So thank you very much, and see you for the next video.